Hello, welcome to R&G at the Crossroad. I'm your co-host, G.A. Cross.
And I'm the other co-host, Roosevelt. We'd like to thank you for joining our broadcast today. And for those of you that have seen our previous broadcast, you understand what our mission is. And for those of you that are just joining us for the first time, we please go back and review our other broadcast. Because what we do here at R&G at the Crossroad, we believe every individual is at a crossroad every day. Decisions got to be made in our lives. And it's up to the individual to either remain the same, regress, or grow. Now, we're all about finding solutions that will positively change the dynamics of our individual lives and our communities. So today, our topic is going to be, how do you become unstuck? For those of you, if you have seen our broadcast on procrastination, these two topics go hand in hand. And simply because when you're in a position of being procrastination, how do you get out of it? You're stuck. How do you get out of it? So we're going to talk about becoming unstuck. So how do you feel about that topic, Joe?
I feel it's a great topic to talk about because it's something that I truly do have some familiarity with and some experience with, because over the years I've gone to a lot of workshops and seminars and have gone to these to hear a lot of great speeches and a lot of personal development speakers, and I've gotten motivated, excited, and so on and so forth. And then, hey, I'm all energetic. A week later, life sets in. You pretty much got the day-to-day that happens, and the motivation tends to wear thin. So then you're like, okay, where am I, and what actual real tools are going to give me some real traction to get me some momentum and enable me to get myself unstuck and to be able to start being productive. So a lot of things has to do with, to me, to really get yourself going is, to have a good plan. A lot of times, if you don't plan, a lot of times you're really planning to set yourself up not to succeed. So you have to have an initial plan. And also too, a lot of times it's fear. That's, like Roosevelt was talking about that fear, but he also talked about the procrastination, the other segment and episode that we've done prior to this one. That fear is one thing too that can also cause you to be stuck and not actually get some momentum going.
And that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge part of it. And see, one of the things, and we all, every culture, every individual, we just happen to live in this world where fear runs rampant in people's lives for many different reasons. So every culture, every individual, at some point in time, are procrastinating, some more than others, and so on and so forth. Like you said, man, same thing going on with me. Let's be real. Let's be real. This stuff happens. And a lot of times, cause see, I can fake the funk. I can fake the funk real good, bro. I don't give my truth to people that I encounter every day. I deal with fears. I deal with procrastination. I'm working on getting unstuck. And one of the things I've learned, baby steps.
That's important. That's important, is to actually set yourself an agenda that aligns itself with your plan, and taking those initial steps, and not to basically just overload yourself with too much. A good example of that is, when you go to have a 5-course meal, you want to take your time. You don't want to go through that meal too fast, because even the greatest meal could be your favorite meal. If you eat it too fast, it's not going to be good, because you're going to give yourself indigestion. And you don't want, you also don't want to give yourself too many tasks at one time, because it's going to cause you to, it's going to cause you not to want to engage with your purpose or getting involved with that plan, because you're going to be repulsed by it, because you're going to feel like you've just been overloaded. Same
Right.
scenario. It's kind of like a scenario like you go to the gym, right? You go to the gym, you're not really wanting to, your first couple of times going, you just got yourself the willpower to get into the gym. You
Mm-hmm.
really don't want to interact with that trainer right off the bat.
Right.
Because why? Because that trainer, he gets a hold of you, he gonna run you through this 3-hour workout. The next day, you're gonna feel like you got hit by a freight train. You ain't going back the next day. You see what I'm saying? So step
Dude,
by step, man.
that's funny that you mentioned that. Like, I can't remember who I was listening to yesterday, and it was on YouTube, and it was about working out and how if you ain't worked out in a while and you go to work out, that pain after working out with or without a trainer, if you put a honest workout in, that pain is going to cause you not to go back and do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And these are things that we have to push through in life. Another thing, I don't know if we never talked about, I told y'all I've seen a therapist because of the stuff I'm going through with my children. One thing about, and mental health is real. It's real. So I do not begrudge anybody who's dealing with some mental issues. But at the end of the day, they either going to drug you up or you got to work it out. There's nothing else. They're either going to drug you up to give you a sense of relief of the things that are causing your anxiety, your fear, causing you your procrastination. But at the end of the day, you got to make a decision and do something different. And I'm speaking to me, bro.
I think,
I
but see, that's
do baby steps.
absolutely. You mentioned a key point, and that's the therapy. A lot of us, that's something that we've interacted some things that have caused us trauma, or caused us some hardship, anything that's derailed us in our life. A lot of times we need therapy, to really kind of simplify those problems or get them right in our mind so that we can be productive, especially if we view our life itself as that great climb and not wanting to reach a plateau. Because even on a great climb, you have to look at, hey, what exactly do I have attached to me on this great climb? And every great climber knows that one of the main tools you have to have, and it's most difficult task, tool you might have to use is a knife. Because when you're on that great climb, it could be a past relationship, a past situation that has happened to you that is hindering you because of what it's done to you mentally, that you may need to cut that line. And when you decide, you like, wait a minute, and you start to look down and say, look, I got a whole lot of stuff that's strapped to me that's keeping me from being able to climb, for me to be able to reach that next level. Almost to the point where now I'm looking up and I can't even see the summit anymore. I'm so clouded with all these things. So you begin to cut one thing at a time. Cut this, you see, identifying this is keeping too much weight on me. It's not allowing me to reach that next level. Some things you got to start cutting off. And that therapy will help you identify what is hindering you and what that weight is that needs to be cut off of you. You see what I'm saying? For you to reach that level.
You know what, brother? It's man, this is very interesting because last night, through those therapy sessions that I've had, I need to say something to some people that is very close to me to get a release of me feeling bound to them. And that one person is my mother, and she's going to see this and it's cool. I'm not going to go into detail, but I had that conversation with her last night about how she has negatively affected my life. But I always honored my mother. I've always respected my mother, but I never liked my mother. And we had this conversation last night, And she was hurt. And I said, Mom, please just let's have a conversation.
By you taking the initiative,
Yeah.
that's a very powerful conversation, especially when you're talking about someone that has such a major impact on your life. Because just so the audience we don't want them to be confused. Your
Absolutely.
love for your mother is infinite.
Right.
You're trying to repair,
Right.
your situation
Right.
as far as identifying some of the things that that have been a hindrance to you as far as you're being able to grow. So yeah, that's difficult.
That's that's getting unstuck. You really have to, like you said earlier, you got to identify some things that is a weight on you.
Yeah.
And how do you remove that weight?
And it's I think a lot of times once you identify that, it really gives you a lot of confidence. Just the simply being able to identify what is hindering you. It gives you a sense of confidence when you begin to cut those things from you,
right?
And you begin to feel lighter. It's almost like you begin to feel your burden begins to feel lighter. So it allows you to have a renewed sense of focus.
Absolutely.
And dealing with those things. So
because certainly when I had that conversation last night, when it was over, I hurt going through it because I'm like, man, I'm going to hurt this woman. I'm about to hurt her feelings. But when I was done, and I did it with the sense and purpose of, Mom, I just need for you to listen to me. As opposed to coming at her just where she doesn't know where it's coming from. I set the boundaries. I gave the understanding.
Yeah, but see, a lot of times too, you got to take a real look at that, because if it's something that is hindering you, although it's caused you pain in the past or even in the present, if you don't present it to her in such a fashion, you harming her or causing her any more pain is not going to help your situation.
Right.
It's not. Right. And that's the truth, because you needing to be able to grow and so on and so forth, you want to be able to put her in a position to where maybe you can lighten her burden so to lighten yours as well. Because in this universe, especially when it comes to your mother and family, we're connected. So we had to understand that lifting up burden a lot of times is going to lift your own. So by you taking yours and making her heavier ain't going to help you now. And you know that
exactly
how that works.
And I've been setting this up for months, saying little things, or even maybe years, because I would always tell her how, man, quit saying that, quit saying, So it got to the point where I just said, okay. And as you were saying, I can't just go off on her. I have to position her to have some sort of understanding of what I need to tell her.
So by you being able to do that, do you feel like at this point that you're unstuck at this point?
Bro, that has been the biggest burden off of me.
So you feel lighter?
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
See, that's the thing. See, it's a lot of times we don't even realize that you have to become a different person sometimes along the way in this thing called life. Even to be able to position yourself to sometimes get yourself loose. Yeah. Because a lot of times the doors that you may want to go through, you can't go through as your present self. So a lot of times you have to imagine yourself. And in order to get yourself stuck, and some of us are stuck more than others. I know I could say that things have had me stuck in the past, and some things I have to be conscious of even today. Right. But you have to come to that place of empowerment. Yep. And a lot of times you have to empower yourself like the power of the phoenix. Yeah. In ancient times, the story of the phoenix, man, the phoenix will live 100 years, hundreds of years. And when he dies, he inflames himself. It rejuvenates. Right. And then from the ashes, a renewed sense of self and empowered self a new phoenix takes
Mm-hmm.
precedence. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you have to do away with your old self in flames. To
Right.
basically just do away with how
Right.
you used to do things, how you used to view things, how you used to experience things, so that now people can experience you in a different way. So you have to do away a lot of times with your old self in order for you to go through those new doors that you want to go through. Because that baggage that you carrying may not have, hey, like you going through the airport and they say, oh no, them bags can't go on that plane. You
Mm-hmm.
got this on there and you got that
Mm-hmm.
on there that won't
Mm-hmm.
go. It's the same thing in life. You got some baggage, some stuff in your baggage that won't allow you entry into those doors that you want to go through that's going to enable you to be successful.
And because when I was in Texas a couple weeks ago, that's one of the conversations my brother and I had, and it just came out of nowhere. He's like, man, I'm not going to be apologetic for who I am. I have a good heart. I want to do this for people but I'm not going to apologize if I'm not pleasing you. And some other things we talked about, and he's like, seasons, man. Seasons. He was telling me about a friend of his, and my brother has a huge home. I think that house is like about 3,300 square feet. It's huge. And it's just him and the wife. Kids gone. And he got a friend that has a huge house, kids gone, and they're ready to go to a retirement place, you know?
Hmm.
And the one daughter is like, why? Well, I want the house. And the parents are like, okay, this is how my brother's sharing to me. But at the end of the conversation, the defining point that he was making is seasons. You have to understand the seasons of your life. That's a big part of getting unstuck too. Some things you just gotta let go. You just gotta let go of. You know, everybody is carrying some burdens that they didn't ask for.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times we're carrying a heavier burden than we realize.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we could be in a bad situation and not want to be there. But a lot of times I remember listening to Les Brown, and he's got a really powerful segment piece called The Power of Purpose. And one of the things he said was he asked the audience, he said, why are known hells preferred over strange heavens? And I say it again, why are known hells preferred over strange heavens? And a lot of times we get so familiar with a place where we're not comfortable, or we're dealing with a lot of pain, a lot of things that are preventing us from growing, or to get to
Mm-hmm.
that next level.
Mm-hmm.
And we get too comfortable with that suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And then that strange heaven presents itself because it's unfamiliar to us, even though we know that it's more healthy for us, we
Mm-hmm.
still stay in that same
Mm-hmm.
position.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we have to enable ourselves and understand that just because it's strange doesn't mean that it's not going to benefit us, and that it's not part of our plan, and that it's not
Mm-hmm.
part of our purpose to move on to that next level.
Yeah. And that's that's interesting because Les Brown was the first person, and a lot of motivational speakers use this tagline or phrase, um, failing the plan is planning to fail. He's the very
Mhm.
first person I heard that from.
Yeah.
And man, how true is that, bro?
Yeah. And another thing too, he talked about, when I like the definition. I think if I hope I'm doing this correct, but I think it was Zig Ziglar and Les that talked about, they identified, we were talking about fear, false
Mm-hmm.
evidence appearing real.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times once you
Mm-hmm.
confront that fear, it gets smaller and smaller, because
Mm-hmm.
you realize that you're actually bigger than your fears.
Right, right,
And once
right.
you realize that, hey, the failure is gonna have to move out of the way because you're larger and you're stronger.
Absolutely.
Especially with this mind up here, you're a lot stronger than
Absolutely,
that,
man.
than that fear, man.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna say this because when you say Zig Ziglar, man, I'm like, oh, he was one of my favorites. You know, See You at the Top. I have every freaking version of that one. One of the things that he says in See You at the Top, and it always comes back to me, is that he was speaking to somebody in a business setting, and he asked a question, and the response was, I'll get around to it. And he took a piece of paper, drew a circle, cut around that circle, and put round to it on that circle of paper.
Yeah, Zig is pretty awesome, man. He's pretty awesome.
And he handed to this person, here's your round to it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we got to make decisions and stick to them and find a way to create new habits.
Absolutely.
And just do baby steps.
Absolutely. And the thing is, too, a lot of time, I remember I was reading how fascinated I was when it's just the concept of a rocket, man. In order for a rocket to get off the ground, it requires something like 1 million gallons of fuel to get that rocket off the ground. All of that power and all that mustard just to get it out of there. But once it gets to the stratosphere, it's smooth sailing. A lot of times we have to find that purpose. We have to find that reason. All those things that are personally connected to us that are going to pour fuel into our rocket so that we can get off the ground, so that your dreams can get off the ground, so your purpose can be engaged.
Absolutely.
Because the rocket is actually that's really your purpose. Your purpose is actually being able to get off the ground. And when you connect your purpose to something that is powerful like that, you have to really get yourself going, man. You got to get enough gallons of gas, whatever you got to get enough fuel into your purpose.
Yeah. And lottery ain't going to do it, folks.
No, lottery ain't going to do
it. So you know.
No.
I've been there, done that. I still put my dollars in there.
Yeah.
Hope and pray, and then get disappointed.
Oh yeah. So you got to get that fuel, man. Got to get that fuel into your purpose.
Yeah.
And that fuel is probably going to be, you got to get that strong enough reason. It could be, the reasons could be the people you want to help, the people you want to influence, and so on and so forth. Because as you become a better person, you become a better family member. As you become a better family member, you become more notable in your community. As you make an influence in your community, then you can actually make an impact on a nation. So never be tricked into believing that you as a person is insignificant, because you're not. You have a major impact in this life, and you have a major impact on your experience. I know I refer to that a lot, but that's what this is all about. This is all about how we experience our life. So let's make it good.
Yeah, absolutely. So folks, we implore you, we invite you to come join us on the journey of growing a community of like-minded people that aren't afraid to make decisions for the betterment of their own lives and their community. We understand that all decisions and choices do not turn out the way that we want them to. And we like to wish and hope that you guys will come and join us and understand the reason we call ourselves RNG at the Crossroad is simply because we got to make a decision every day. We believe everybody got to make a decision every day. So decisions have to be made either willingly or unwillingly. So what's now and what's next? The choice is going to be yours. So don't get stuck.
That's right. We don't want to get stuck. And you're exactly right. And so we have to make that decision where we want to remain the same, regress, or grow. So let's make that choice to grow together. So we're going to grow as we bring more information to you as our audience. So we're excited about growing with you as well. So please join us. Please continue to tune in on our YouTube channel. And we also going to have our website available for you for be able to get information from us. And also look us up on Instagram and Facebook. So thank you for
Absolutely.
joining in.
Appreciate you guys taking the time. Be good. Get unstuck.
That's absolutely. Get unstuck and engage your purpose.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, take care, and everyone have a good night.
Good night.